Have you ever wondered what it would be like if humans could live forever? An intriguing question indeed, and one that has captivated our collective imagination since time immemorial. The concept of human immortality, living forever, free from the constraints of time and age, is as fascinating as it is elusive. Historically, we've spun tales and legends around this idea. Myths of fabled elixirs and sacred fountains promising eternal youth have been a part of our cultural fabric, painting vivid pictures of ageless existence. These stories, these dreams of immortality, reflect a deep-rooted human desire to transcend the inevitability of death, to reach beyond our biological limits. Fast forward to the present day and we find ourselves in an age of unprecedented scientific and technological advancement. We've made strides in understanding the very fabric of life itself, our DNA, and how it influences aging. We've developed technologies capable of incredible feats, from replacing body parts with prosthetics to pioneering research in cellular regeneration and genetic manipulation. This progress has fueled our fascination and made the prospect of human immortality seem less like a myth and more like a tangible goal. But what does this mean for us? As we teeter on the brink of potentially life-altering discoveries, we find ourselves facing questions that were once confined to the realm of science fiction. What if we could live forever? What if the ticking hands of our biological clocks could be stilled forever? What if death could be reduced to a mere inconvenience rather than an inescapable certainty? These questions pose profound implications not just for our individual lives, but for the very structure of our societies. And as we grapple with these implications, we are forced to reconsider our understanding of life, death, and what it means to be human. So with the thought of immortality in our minds, we venture into the realm of possibilities, a realm where science meets philosophy, and where our deepest desires confront our greatest fears. A journey into the unknown, into the future of what we might become. How might science bring about immortality? Is it even possible? These are questions that have intrigued scientists and dreamers alike for centuries. While the concept of immortality has been largely confined to the realm of mythology and fantasy, recent advancements in science and technology are beginning to blur the line between what's possible and what's simply wishful thinking. Let's start by examining the concept of telomeres. These are the protective caps at the end of our chromosomes that shorten as we age. Scientists have theorized that if we could find a way to lengthen these telomeres, we could potentially halt or even reverse the aging process. This could mean that diseases associated with aging, such as Alzheimer's, heart disease, and cancer, could become things of the past. But it's not just about halting aging. What if we could grow replacement organs? This is where the field of regenerative medicine comes into play. Scientists are working on techniques to grow organs in the lab, using a patient's own cells. This could potentially eliminate the need for donor organs and the risk of organ rejection. Imagine a world where a failing heart, liver, or kidney could be replaced with a brand new lab-grown organ. And then there's the idea of digital immortality. This involves uploading our consciousness to a digital platform, effectively allowing us to live on in a virtual world long after our physical bodies have ceased to function. It's a concept that's been explored in numerous science fiction novels and movies. But could it become a reality? While these fields are still in their infancy, the advancements being made are truly astonishing. They offer a tantalizing glimpse into a future where immortality might not just be a dream, but a scientific reality. However, while the science of immortality intrigues us, it also presents us with ethical and social dilemmas. But that's a discussion for another scene. For now, let's revel in the marvel of what science might make possible. If we could live forever, should we? This question takes us deep into the ethics of immortality. Let's consider a world where immortality is possible, but it's a commodity. It's not available to everyone, only to those who can afford it. This scenario could exacerbate social inequality, as the wealthy could potentially live forever while the less fortunate continue to have a finite lifespan. The divide between the haves and have-nots could widen to an unimaginable extent. It's a dystopian reality that could challenge our fundamental beliefs about fairness and justice. Now imagine the impact of immortality on our planet's resources. The Earth has a carrying capacity. It can only support a certain number of humans before resources become depleted. If death becomes a thing of the past, overpopulation could become an even greater threat than it is today. We'd need to find new ways to feed, house, and provide for an ever-growing, never-dying population. But what about the emotional implications of living forever? Life is a cycle. Birth, growth, decay, and death. It's a process we have come to understand and accept. But what happens when we remove death from this cycle? We'd witness our loved ones age and die while we remain unchanged. The emotional toll could be immense. Would the joy of living forever outweigh the sorrow of repeatedly losing those we care about? Moreover, would an eternal life still hold meaning? Part of what makes life precious is its impermanence. Knowing that our time is limited, we strive to make the most of it. If our days were limitless, would we still appreciate them in the same way? These are just some of the ethical dilemmas that the prospect of immortality presents. They challenge us to examine our deepest desires and confront our responsibilities to our fellow humans and the world we inhabit. The ethical conundrums of immortality challenge us to think deeply about our desires and our responsibilities. What would an immortal society look like? Imagine, if you will, a world where the sands of time cease to erode the human condition. The social implications of such a reality are as vast as they are fascinating. Firstly, our perceptions of life and death would undergo a profound transformation. The inevitability of death has always been a fundamental aspect of the human experience. It is the final act in our play, the last page in our book. But what happens when that final curtain call never comes? Life, in its infinite possibility, takes on a new meaning. The concepts of legacy and mortality, so deeply ingrained in our psyche, would need to be reevaluated. This brings us to a shift in societal norms and values. Would we still value time the same way if we had an infinite amount of it? The idea of a life well lived might transform entirely. The urgency to achieve, to create, to leave a mark, all these could change when the ticking clock is no longer a concern. Might we see a society that values experience and personal growth over achievement? Only time, or the lack of it, could tell. Let's consider the impact on our relationships and careers. Marriage till death do us part could potentially mean an eternity. Careers that span hundreds, if not thousands of years, could be the norm. The concept of retirement would become obsolete. Would we still choose the same career if we knew we'd be in it indefinitely? Would our relationships with each other deepen with time? Or would we struggle to maintain connections over such long periods? Personal growth, too, would take on a new dimension. With infinite time, we could learn, experience, and grow in ways we can't even fathom. Yet, it also begs the question, without the pressure of a finite life, would we still strive to better ourselves? While immortality might change society in unimaginable ways, it's an idea that continues to captivate us. So, immortality, a blessing or a curse? Are we on the cusp of a revolution in human biology? Or are we flirting with a Pandora's box of unforeseen consequences? These are the questions we've grappled with today, as we've delved into the curiosity, science, ethics, and social impact of human immortality. Think back to the science of it all. The breakthroughs in genetics, nanotechnology, and artificial intelligence that might make the impossible possible. Yet with every scientific leap, there's a chasm of ethical questions. If we conquer death, who gets to live forever? Would it be fair, just moral? And who decides? Let's not forget the societal implications. An immortal population could mean an overcrowded planet, strained resources, and a potential stagnation in human evolution. Yet it could also mean the end of the human fear of death, a chance to accumulate centuries of wisdom, and maybe even the opportunity to witness the far future of humanity. But as we ponder these questions, we must remember that immortality is not just a scientific or philosophical concept. It's a deeply personal one. Each of us, in our own quiet moments, has likely wondered what it would be like to live forever, to see the rise and fall of civilizations, to witness the stars burn out and new ones ignite, to have the time to learn, to grow, to love, without the ticking clock of mortality. So I encourage you to take these thoughts, these questions, and continue the conversation. Discuss it with friends, debate it with colleagues, ponder it in solitude. Because at the end of the day, the question of immortality is not just about the length of our lives, but the quality of them. It's about what we value, who we are, and who we aspire to be. Whether we ever achieve immortality or not, the journey of exploration and discovery continues, challenging us to confront our deepest fears and our greatest hopes.